Picture a night in Gotham where the darkness isn't just the absence of light. It's a living, breathing curtain hiding a secret that's stalking you. From that shadow steps a figure, not walking, but gliding like some twisted dance, with a laugh sharp enough to slice through the silence like a razor. He has no real name, only whispers that send chills down spines. Legend, nightmare, or simply Joker, a name that makes even the toughest tremble. With a smirk that feels like a curse and eyes that seem to read your soul like an open book, the Joker isn't just a clown. He's a hurricane of chaos, a mad director turning the whole world into his stage. Every time his enemies think they've caged him, he vanishes like smoke, leaving behind a city in flames and questions with no answers. He doesn't chase fame or crave the spotlight. He wants to repaint reality with strokes of blood, using pain as his palette, silence as his rhythm, and that grin as a middle finger to the universe. Who is he? A lunatic, a genius, or a prophet of pandemonium? Nobody knows for sure, but one thing's crystal clear. When you hear his laugh, you're already in his game. And when the curtain rises, there's no way out. Only a burning curiosity pulling you deeper where the Joker waits, holding a secret that makes your heart race and your eyes afraid to blink. Take a seat, because the show of the maestro of chaos is just getting started, and you won't be able to walk away. Imagine Gotham under the cover of night, its alleys like cracks in the face of society, where streetlights flicker like dying embers, trembling before the vast darkness. From that void, the Joker doesn't just walk, he dances, as if the city itself is his stage, and the growl of chaos is his soundtrack. Every step is a deadly poem, every twist a sharp stroke on the canvas of reality, painted in blood and fire. He glides through like smoke, leaving no trace, no sound except that echoing laugh, a symphony gone wrong that stops his enemies dead, hearts pounding in their chests. He doesn't need artificial light. The Joker sees clearly in the pitch black, where others only find blind fear, where secrets are buried and fake plans unravel. He reads his enemies' scripts before they even pick up the pen, dodging their traps with the precision of a deranged genius, turning every manhunt into a deadly tango when they set their nets. He doesn't run. He struts right in, that smirk a silent dare, transforming their trap into his personal stage where he performs with terrifying grace. You think you've got me locked up? His eyes seem to whisper, that grin making his enemies question their own grip. He shows up where no one expects, pulling off stunts no one saw coming, like the punchline to a joke only he gets, leaving Gotham wondering, is this reality or just nightmare he's directing? The Joker's psychological warfare doesn't need knives or guns, just that smile, sharp enough to tear through his enemies' masks, making them doubt their own reality, wondering if they ever had control or were just clumsy puppets in his grand play. That's the Joker's style, not mere sneaking, but a mesmerizing dance that drags you into a whirlwind of chaos, where the line between hunter and hunted blurs like fog in the night. The Joker doesn't destroy out of simple anger. He destroys because it's art, because chaos is his breath, the blood pumping through his veins. His chaos isn't random madness. It's an ancient language, a symphony only those brave enough to stare into the abyss can understand, where every note is a laugh and every pause is an explosion. Each of his actions is a brushstroke on the world's canvas, painting warped curves and vibrant colors of blood and flame, turning skyscrapers into characters in his twisted play. Pain, to the Joker, isn't a wound that weakens. It's a vivid hue, the raw material for his immortal masterpiece, the fire that forges his unbreakable spirit. Instead of fleeing the darkness, he embraces it like a lover, making it his throne where he sits, smirking, as if declaring, "I'm the king of freedom, and this world is my kingdom, where rules are just childish jokes." When he steps into a room, the air turns heavy, like it's bracing for a blast, as if the whole space senses a storm brewing. His name, whispered in the shadows, silences enemies, makes hearts race and sweat bead, because they know facing the Joker isn't fighting a man, it's challenging fate, stepping into an abyss where he reigns supreme. He doesn't need to raise his voice to dominate or brandish a weapon to conquer. His mere presence is an eternal curse, haunting minds, making others wonder if their lives are just a punchline. He wrote long ago, that's the Joker's spirit, a king without a throne, an artist without a frame, where chaos becomes absolute freedom, and every breath he takes is an invitation for the world to join his deadly dance. The Joker's silence isn't weakness, it's a ticking time bomb, storing energy from deep wounds, waiting for the perfect moment to erupt into a blaze of chaos. He watches his enemies like a master playwright, his piercing eyes cutting through their masks, memorizing every hidden motive, every weakness buried under fake smiles, every plot hatched in the dark. When they brag about cornering him, he's already mapped out every exit in his mind, calculated every possible move, turning every disadvantage into a golden opportunity to flip the script. "Think you've won?" his grin seems to ask, before he vanishes like smoke, leaving a city drowning in chaos, like a giant graffiti mural, vivid and meaningful only to him. When enemies set their clever traps, the Joker doesn't dodge the usual way. He walks right in, calm as death, turning their snare into his spotlight, making the shooter question if their bullet even hit the mark or just played into his script. Every time they think he's broken under betrayal's weight, he rises from the ashes, rewriting the play with twists that leave enemies terrified and lost. From a forgotten pawn, the Joker ascends to Gotham's director, turning foes into bumbling side characters, tripping over his carefully crafted script. He doesn't fight just to survive. He fights to remind the world that chaos isn't the enemy. It's the only truth, the perfect plan he's been crafting since his worst days. That's the Joker's strategy. A mind game where every silence is a chess move, every laugh a knockout blow, pulling enemies into a maze with no exit. The Joker doesn't build empires with gold or fake power. He builds them from the ashes of betrayal, from the bricks his enemies hurl, turning them into the foundation of a chaotic kingdom. Every failure, every scar isn't an end, but a glittering gem in his crown, proof of his unstoppable strength. He doesn't seek petty revenge. His existence is punishment enough, a living reminder that no one can cage a storm or extinguish a fire fueled by pain. Every step he takes is a vivid stroke on the world's canvas, every rare word a line that forces the universe to listen, to reflect. His silence is a thundering symphony, shaking the proudest souls, revealing that society's order is just a fragile illusion, easily shredded by his grin. He doesn't explain his actions, doesn't justify the chaos, doesn't beg for sympathy from the weak. He only demands the world feel the weight of his presence, like an endless curse haunting every corner. The Joker doesn't need a stage, he seems to whisper through that smirk, because the whole world is my stage, and everyone's an unwilling actor. Enemies tremble not at what he does, but at what he could do, a secret only that Grin knows, powerful enough to make all of Gotham bow, becoming part of the chaotic legacy he leaves behind, a legacy etched forever in history, like a beautiful, terrifying scar. The Joker doesn't just survive crushing pain, he turns it into living art, into a wellspring of unstoppable power. Every scar on his face and soul is a chapter in a legendary saga, every failure a soaring note in his chaotic anthem echoing through time. He dances with disaster like an old friend, chats with demons like long-lost pals, sleeps beside heartbreak like it's a sweet dream, and wakes sharper, deadlier, with a grin that seems to know every secret of the universe. From distant stars to the darkest corners of the human mind. Once a man who trusted too fast, loved too deeply, hoped too blindly, he evolved into a master strategist, loving like a contract with no loopholes, trusting like a vault no one can crack. He's not just a clown, he's proof that chaos doesn't destroy a soul. It reshapes it into something eternal, a symbol that transcends time and space. His scars aren't ugly marks, they're artistic strokes. His smile isn't joy, it's the signature of a genius, and his presence is an everlasting curse, haunting anyone who dares cross him. Enemies don't fear his specific actions. They fear the thought that he could strike any time, any way, and no one can predict or stop him. The Joker doesn't need bright stage lights or roaring applause. He leaves a mark deep in people's minds, like a ghost that never fades, a legend whispered across generations, inspiring both terror and awe. That's the Joker's immortality, not living forever in the flesh, but thriving in fear and fascination, a beautiful nightmare carved into humanity's story forever. The Joker isn't just a clown with a razor-sharp grin. He's a chaotic storm, tearing through every illusion of order, a genius director turning Gotham into a grand stage where every person is an unwilling actor, every building a prop, and every moment a heart-pounding plot twist. From the shadowy alleys where pain is forged into art, to the proud skyscrapers toppled by his echoing laugh, he's danced through the abyss, turning scars into eternal symbols, silence into a deadly weapon, and chaos into an unending symphony. He doesn't chase fame or validation from the weak. He seeks true immortality, not an endless life, but in the indelible marks he carves into the world's psyche, leaving enemies waking in cold sweats, haunted by that smirking grin. Every step, every piercing glance, every defiant smile is a booming reminder that chaos isn't the enemy. It's the only truth, the fire that reshapes reality, the power that makes self-proclaimed heroes question themselves. As the curtain falls, Gotham still hears his laugh echoing through its dark streets, like a beautiful, terrifying curse, a question left hanging in the air. Who's really running this show, you or the Joker? You think he's gone, vanished into the shadows? Think again. He's just waiting in the abyss, penning the next chapter with blood-soaked strokes, ready to raise the curtain again and pull you back into his whirlwind of chaos. And when that happens, the world will tremble, not just from pure fear, but from the irresistible allure of the maestro of chaos, a living legend, a gorgeous nightmare, forever etched into history like an unhealing scar.